Hey everybody, this is Sophie from Hotspawn, and we're back again with another episode of Hot Takes, this time brought to you by the Thunderpick World Championship. We're very excited to talk about that. We'll get into it a little bit later in the episode. But first of all, I am wearing the correct Vitality jersey.
But not the major winning one, and that is an important distinction.
I mean, yeah, I just would like for people to not see me a mile away, you know?
Yeah, you cannot miss those vitality players for anything at all.
That's how they won. Mongols couldn't see their screen, they just see fucking yellow. Like,
Yeah, we need to replay the game. We need that map 2 could have been all so different if
exactly.
Mongols could just see their monitors. Yeah.
I'm kind of glad that we got a 3 game series, though, like a 3 map series. I thought it would be a lot more cut and dry than it was. It was a banging final.
Yeah, no, I had the little feeling in the back of my mind after the first map. I was like, "Oh my god, like they're actually gonna mess this up." Like after everything they've been through
Absolutely.
to get here, Vitality are gonna mess this up. And,
Honestly, like, I was sort of prepping the tweet, like, Dan was right all along. Vitality
yeah,
aren't going to win the major.
and
Like,
I mean, when did I make this prediction? Like March?
January, maybe. Yeah,
Maybe whenever we
March.
started this podcast, it was one of like the first things I said. And like they didn't just win the major, they won everything in between. Like from that prediction, they just won everything.
Yep.
Like that has never happened before. So like I simply cannot be blamed.
I
And
think, first of all, proof that Vitality watched this podcast. And second of all, they thought, fuck you in particular. And then
yeah.
they just won everything.
I mean, my bloody pick'ems. I went. This has been the major where nothing straightforward has happened the entire way. First three stages, like it's been so unpredictable. I'm just gonna put something out there, and I even quantified in the article. I think Vitality are going to win the major. Like when I come to the playoffs section of the pick'ems, I said I think Vitality at this point are going to win it. But this major has been so fucking stupid that like I can't in good faith put that as my pick'em.
Yep, yep,
And then of course, just right in line with the rest of my pick'ems, the second I go, you know what, let's do something a little bit out there.
yep,
No, the thing that everyone expected to happen finally happens. So
yep. You
like
went with your heart the whole time.
oh my god,
And then eventually, no.
I was like generationally washed on this section of pick'ems. Like, oh man, anyone that read this will not be reading it next time. Like, yeah.
I mean,
So
I think I saw that, like, only, what was it, 0.1% of people ended up with a diamond coin.
wrong. 0.01%, making
Oh,
it
okay, yeah.
making it the lowest in the last 5 majors.
Yep. Yeah,
So
that
the
checks
high
out.
yeah, the highest I believe was zero point 0.6, and that was Shanghai.
Okay, yeah.
Um and yeah, this one 0.01. Crazy.
Honestly, I'm not surprised. I'm surprised even one person got a diamond coin off this, because literally you could have just pulled the names out of the hat and done better than experts.
Well, I had a look on Twitter, and some like Valorant commentator got diamond. Like we're really being outdone here by people who are just guessing. Like
Yeah. Okay, so when Budapest comes round, we are gonna call that guy,
yeah,
uh, and have him do our pick'ems.
I'm gonna go to like a psychic medium or something. Maybe that could be
Yeah.
like a video idea. Let's go to a psychic medium
Yep,
and
yep, we'll
get them
read
to
it
predict our
in
CS2 pick'ems.
You know what? I would be really interested to see how well they did.
Oh
We should do
man,
that.
yeah, definitely. But yes, it was a really good final.
Mhm,
But it just again, it just shows like the fact that they didn't just 2-0 it like the Gamer Legion final a few years ago.
mhm.
The fact that they had to come back from this position of like, oh god, we could lose this, just shows like the mental strength of this team.
Yeah,
And
particularly for a team that got so booed as they were
yeah,
being lifted up out. Like, I know that everyone loves an underdog, and I think a US audience prefers an underdog
mhm,
more
yeah,
than anybody else if they don't have a hometown team to root for. So to go from like being booed like that to then making that comeback, yeah, it's a testament to the
yeah,
players, and
yeah.
they deserved it. I was happy to see it, to be honest.
Well, as we went into the third map, I was having like war flashbacks to E League Major Boston. It was like, so you've got this heavily favored super team, phase or vitality, against a regional underdog, it's Cloud9, the
Hmm.
Mongols, on a map 3-decider of Inferno, where the underdog has absolutely no right to be there. Like, I was having like proper flashbacks. I was like,
Yep.
sorry, on North American soil, I should say.
Yeah, yeah. It was
Because it was,
history was very close to repeating itself there.
yeah, all we needed was Mongols to win that Inferno. But man, like, it's sort of unfair to be too harsh on them because like the average age is something like 20.8 on that lineup.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
they really have like no business being near a major final, never mind winning one.
Exactly. This
And
is
like
pretty much their first season in Tier 1, if I'm not mistaken, and to do that with players this young, that's
some of the players
insane.
have been around for quite a while, but
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the progress has been like notable since like I am Rio, I want to say
Mhm.
2022.
Yep.
Like the progress in majors has been like you can see the direct line. So yeah, the next stage is literally to just win the thing.
Well, I think, last episode we were talking about how they always make it to the playoffs, and then they fall exactly at that hurdle, and I think once again, much like Vitality, they heard us and just thought,
Yeah,
"No, not
yeah,
doing that." So
yeah, yeah. But what was sort of interesting about the final is like you could see 9-10 in particular when once they got to Inferno, like when he was like scoped in on his orb,
Mm.
like the shakes were like visible.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it was really surprising how noticeable that was for me. But
Mhm.
obviously, again, you just can't be too harsh.
No,
Like,
not at all. Like, I think to be under that kind of pressure at that age, I think that
mhm.
would crumble me now. I'm in my
Yeah, yeah,
30s. Like, I would really, really have struggled. Yeah, I just have so much respect for them. Like,
yeah. I mean, I think
really,
nine
really good
ten.
guys.
I think 9-10 has like 4,000 hours on the game. Like, if you're a pro, that like there's no pros with less than like 10,000 hours, fifteen
Hmm.
thousand hours. Like that's just the time it takes to get that good at the game. Like 9-10's got 4,000 hours in the game, and it's like, wow, how are you at this level?
Yeah.
Like it shows
See,
what's
I think
possible.
the mistake we're making here is it's not actually hours in the game, it's percentage of your life spent. So
Yeah, yeah,
4,000 hours for him is actually quite a significant
yeah,
percentage, I'd say. So,
yeah, yeah. I mean, compare that to Donk though, who's got like 15,000, I believe.
yeah,
Like
yeah, that's.
it's making good use of your time, but
Mhm.
yeah, it's a big win for Asian Counter Strike in general.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be honest, it's kind of nice to see other regions, other teams make it this far. Like, of course, we just want Counter Strike to be as competitive as it can possibly be. And there does tend to be a regional domination in most esports. And that's like my least favorite part of it. I love it when you're on the international stage and teams that don't often play each other come head to head. And it's
Yeah,
just, yeah, fireworks. I love that.
yeah. No, the Asian regions always had issues with Counter Strike for
Hmm.
again reasons I'm pretty sure I've talked about with like just other games being the priority and like
Hmm.
in like poorer countries Counter Strike's a favorite because like the old versions of Counter Strike could run on a potato.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You just don't
So
need good tech for it. And
yeah,
that's fine. Like,
yeah, no, it's a good thing. It makes it really accessible. That's why you see like a lot of Eastern European teams like you get a lot of Eastern European teams where like young players have just played it since they're like 3
hmm.
and they've played it in internet cafes and all that sort of thing. Like bloody Nico and Hunter, their parents,
Mm.
one of their parents and one of their uncles owned a internet cafe and
Oh,
just got
that's
into it through that.
cool.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
from Bosnia, no?
Serbia, I think.
Ah,
I
okay,
think.
yeah.
Let me maybe Bosnia. I think that's a very
It's the
touchy subject.
Balkans.
It's a very touchy subject, I believe.
Yes, very much
Um,
so.
so let's not go there. Maybe Bosnia, maybe Serbian. Let's
Yep,
leave
yep.
it there. Yeah,
That's really cool though. I mean, it's a good
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, it's paid off for them.
Yeah,
So,
definitely, definitely. But
well, on the note of how much we love international Counter-Strike, we do
mhm,
actually have a little bit of regional Counter-Strike to be talking about.
okay.
So, tomorrow we've got the Thunderpick World Championship, the first South American qualifier, and we've got some exciting teams coming up in this one.
Yeah, so the group stage begins with 8 teams.
Mhm,
So I would say there's mainly 2 teams worth talking about. So you've got
mhm.
9Z, who last year I believe got to the semis of IEM Dallas, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's
That
not
was
nothing.
some time ago, but and they've not really sort of moved on from that. But 9Z are a team that you see pop up a little bit now and then. Uh, in that group stage as well, you've got Red Canids.
Mhm.
So the reason I'm excited about them is one reason in particular, and it's Cold Zera. So
Ah.
Cold Zera, now 30 years old, won 2 majors 9 years ago, but he was the best player in the world for 2 years running once upon a time. So he's one of them players where it's like, yeah, look, he's not the player he was, but like you have to you have to just like watching Cold Zera, like when the opportunity arises. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he is the only major winner in attendance at the
I
Thunderpick World
think
Championship.
so. There's no names here
Yeah,
that are jumping out to me. I'm seeing
yeah,
a lot of Brazilian flags though. What we got? One, two, three, four,
yeah,
five, six of these eight group stage teams are Brazilian only.
yeah. So they're the 2 teams I would say keep your eye on,
Hmm.
definitely. But when we move into the playoffs, so the way it works is 4 teams will go through from the group stage,
Yep.
and they'll join 4 teams that have been directly invited from the VRS. And this is where things will get very interesting for the South American Thunderpick World Championship. So you've got Bestia. The reason they're so interesting is obviously they had their major spot taken away because they couldn't get visas in time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Regardless of what their CEO says, they did not get the required documentation for Valve's deadline. So
Yes.
they'll be interesting to see. I don't know if they've actually played any matches since. I've not sort of been keeping up with them, but it'll be interesting to see how they do.
And they lock in those visas for Malta if they need them today,
Yeah.
man. Just do it today.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm also very interested to see how Furia female do here. So
Absolutely.
when you have a little look at the VRS, because Furia female are at the most recent ESL Impact, they
Hmm.
became the first team outside of Imperial Valkyries or Nigma Galaxy and Pigeons. It's all the same lineup. There was one women's lineup, won every ESL Impact event. I believe it was 8 in a row
Whoa.
until Furia female won this most recent one. So yeah, they're 51 in the VRS. So that puts them. Well, they must have been higher to get an invite to this once upon a time.
Mm.
Um. So yeah, they come in, and it'll be interesting to see how they do because this will be a really good test for sort of how good they are. Because we've seen Imperial Valkyries sort of play teams like this and really really struggle.
Yeah,
But I don't
absolutely.
know how much of it is because Imperial Valkyries have had this period of dominance and never really been tested,
Hmm.
and that's not the best base for coming up against a team that is a little better than you,
I mean, they
and
found
then
that out when they
just getting
went to
shell
tier
shocked.
1, which
Yeah,
was a real shame, but yeah.
so we're gonna see sort of the level
Mm,
of Fury female, and I think that'll be good. 2 players to watch out for there, Bazinia and Gabs. So Bazinia, I think I'm doing a thing at this at the moment. I think she is the best female CS2 player in the world at the moment.
okay. Yeah, yeah. Oh, I saw your
Um,
article about that.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm writing one at the moment about the best players. Just published
Mhm.
best teams, so definitely check that out if you're listening. Um, and then finally, Oddick, give or take, they're fine. But then you've got Imperial. So
Yep.
I am very interested to see who actually plays for Imperial because it starts tomorrow. They have just benched Che Jesus, who came onto the lineup, I believe, 5 months ago. Like maybe to the day, actually, 5 months
Mm.
to the day. He's
Oh
benched already.
yeah.
So they're missing a player. So
Why did they
that's
bench him? Do we know?
it just wasn't. I think he had like a 0.97 rating over the last 3 months. It's just not.
Okay.
It hasn't worked. Yeah, it just hasn't been particularly impressive. So yeah, you'll see a new look Imperial, sort
Mhm.
of. Players to watch out for there. Obviously, whoever comes in, but No Way and Decency. So let me check the ages. So No Way is 20
Okay.
and Decency is 21. So two very good young talents. No Way, I've had my eye on for quite a while. Decency, I know a little bit less about, but the stats actually make for really good reading for him. So yeah, the Thunderpick World Championship should be a banger, and obviously, we've talked about 9Z and Red Canids in the group stage, but 4 teams go through. So that means we'll get 2 teams that were not really we don't really know so much about getting into the playoffs.
Yep.
And from
Yep.
there, the playoffs, single elimination, and anything can happen there. So we could
Exactly.
we could
Yeah.
see some interesting teams in contention to make it to that closed qualifier, because obviously the prize, the way it works is the top spot takes home a place in the closed qualifier
Yep. And $20,000.
and $20,000, and yeah,
Yeah.
it's no it's no small pool for what is a qualifier for another event that's also a qualifier. It's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just an exciting time to actually be able to watch some Counter Strike on all of this downtime that we're going to have in the lead up to the Esports World Cup, I guess,
It's
next.
Cologne first, I believe.
Cologne first. Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
got mixed up with my dates there.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
so
month
now that
away.
we're in the Cologne waiting room, it's nice to have so much Counter Strike, which is pretty exciting to be able to watch. But I guess we've got other reasons why this week is going to be a pretty exciting time for Counter Strike fans, probably.
Maybe, maybe Valve are Valve, so
Yep.
maybe. But yeah, if you just cast your mind back to, I can't remember if it was late January, early February, but they launched Premiere Season 2 in game.
Hmm.
They said in the post about Premiere Season 2 that Season 3 will launch after the Austin Major. Now, I read that and I think in the immediate aftermath of the Austin Major.
Yes, I'm
But
thinking before Cologne would start. Yes.
yeah, now Valve aren't technically lying if they release Season 3 in a year's time. Like, it is technically after the Austin Major, that would still be correct. But the implication is that it's going to come just after the Austin Major. Now, the Austin Major's finished. We've obviously not seen, we've not, like, Premier Season 3 is not here. I think it could be here today because Valve make updates on Tuesday and Thursday.
Hmm.
It's usually Thursday evening in Seattle.
Yep.
So let's say if you're in the UK, it's probably about midnight, 1 p.m., 1 a.m., sorry.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm expecting an update probably tonight. If not tonight, next week, definitely, because it makes me. They need to do the major champions update. They need to release the Vitality champion stickers. That will definitely happen.
Hmm.
They also announced after the playoffs were finished, they would release new charms, like highlight charms. I don't know if you saw this.
No, I didn't actually.
So you know the little sausage men that you can buy.
Yeah, yeah.
So and put them on your gun and stuff.
Hmm.
So they're releasing new charms to do with the major, and they're like little dog tags, and each dog tag has a highlight from the game, like from the major.
I
Like
like that.
you can buy Frozen's Deagle 1v3, for
That's
example.
that's a really good idea,
Yeah,
actually. I
and
kind of love that.
I don't know when it plays.
Mm.
I don't know if it's like you can just watch it in game by like looking at it in your inventory or what, but it's a highlight charm. It's really interesting,
That's
and they need to
cute
release
because I
that.
yeah,
So
soon because I guess with the gun charms when they first came out, my initial thought was just what in the Valorant?
yeah,
Like why would we want or need this? But that's actually a bit more unique. I'm
yeah.
into that. I don't
I
hate that.
I don't mind it, to be honest, because Valve are always looking for new ways to monetize, and like
Mhm.
it's optional. If you don't like them, just don't buy them.
Well, exactly.
like you went 12 years without buying them.
Yep.
Like it's not gonna kill you. But yeah,
Counter
yeah.
Strike is
So
now pay to win. You have to have a gun charm
you have to have
if
a
you
little
want to
sausage
win.
man on the end of your
Yeah.
gun. Like I find them distracting.
Yeah, the sort of movement mechanics on them. Mm,
Rather than wasting like my energy getting very annoyed about it, I just I'm just a sensible adult. I just don't buy them.
now that is a revolutionary idea. That's
like
not how we do things here at esports.
and and like I don't get red in the face if I pick up a gun in game and like it's got another little gun on the end of it. Like it's it's really not that deep. like like maybe I'll pick up a highlight charm. Maybe I'll see. I'll see how they're actually implemented. But yeah, my point is that has to be released, as do the major stickers. So I would
Yeah.
expect them to make release Premiere Season 3 when that update is made. I would be
Mm,
very surprised because there's been no major sort of game updates in a while now.
yeah, yeah.
And what I'm sort of interested in is if there's a map pool change.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, I don't know what'll go out. I've got an inkling it could be Inferno, just to make some
I think
changes.
that would be the crowd choice if
Yeah,
what I have read on Twitter is to be believed. That's my source. People want Inferno gone.
yeah. People just don't like watching it is the issue.
Yeah, yeah.
Because like the two bomb sites are like unretakeable for the
Mhm.
most part.
Yeah.
So teams don't even try to retake them. They just go 2 man down. Yep, save. That's another a minute and 30. You just gotta sit there and wait, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I don't think cash will come back in. I think if we're gonna see a change right now, I think you're more likely to see overpass come back in because obviously Valve have just bought cash, but they're gonna
Mm,
want time to make their own changes
yeah.
to this. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
exactly. I wouldn't expect Cash to be in this quickly. It would be nice to see Overpass back.
yeah, yeah, it's been
I wouldn't be mad about that at
I
all.
I was looking, it's been over a year since it's been gone. And like
What?
what was so confusing about the overpass thing to me is they remade the map for CS2, like fully.
Yeah.
And then it was gone within like 6 months of the game releasing. And then what
That's
they did
crazy.
is they made a few changes to make it more playable, but they made these changes after it had been removed from the active duty pool, which made people think, oh, they're planning on bringing it straight back
Mm,
because like they
yeah.
removed the water in like outside connector,
Mhm.
and they in heaven on B they removed like some lockers that could be seen down from the site.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
like, confused people, and it made people look like it was a player. So it was like a visibility change, which, like,
Right. I
is a
see.
is a playability change, really.
Mm, yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like, why are you making these changes if,
You're just not going to
like,
bring the map back.
the
Yeah.
map back, like so the map is in a better place for when it does come back in,
Mm.
but yeah, they did the same on Long as well. Like, they made some visibility changes to trees and stuff, and it's like, just bring the map back, man. It's a good map.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'd never had any problems with watching it. Like
Yeah, yeah.
I always quite liked Overpass.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, interesting. Well, yeah, I think as you say, it's a lot more likely than bringing cash back because I know people are chomping at the bit to get cash, but I think that means there's a little bit more pressure on Valve to make it right.
Yeah, yeah.
And if they want to spend a bit more time working on that, like that's fine
Yeah,
by me. Yeah.
absolutely. I'd expect it by the end of this is grim, but I'd expect it by the end of 2026. Like, at the
Yeah.
latest, but,
Yeah, yeah.
that would be my sort of my time scale.
Yeah, yeah. It's not imminent by any
Yeah,
means. I mean,
yeah,
if what we can now guarantee is it's going to be released tonight. So
yeah, yeah, 100%. Just you wait.
okay, cool. Well, we are like 25 minutes into this podcast and we haven't even touched on what was supposed to be our main topic today. So,
Yeah.
let's get into some of these changes that we're going to see from Rostermania.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll start
So,
on the confirmed moves, and then we'll move
yes.
into some of the little rumors that are sprinkling about at the moment. Yeah. So we'll start off with Astralis.
Mhm.
So what they have done is they have brought in Hooksy on a permanent basis. So the Giga Chad is officially back,
Which
and
is
it.
exciting.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wonder if you get this as well. So when I was a kid, I was really into Pokemon, and my nan
Mhm.
always used to call them Pokemon, and I'd be like, "Nan, it's Pokemon." And every single time I say the word Hooksy, I expect someone to be like, it's Hooksy." Like every time I'm like proper triggered by it, and I don't even know why. Um, anyway, that's beside the point. It's great to have him back on with Astralis, but it's a problem.
I'll be honest. I don't know what I've just heard. Oh, you okay? Yeah,
Just
we can
yeah,
go with it.
that's just
Hooksy.
where my brain goes every single time.
I think that's quite a unique experience. I can't say that. Okay.
Maybe I did that once and someone called me out. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, but regardless, they gave Hooksy a trial run at PGL Astana,
Yep, yep,
and at the time it seemed like it was sort of literally Astralis trying to fulfill events obligations. Like, we're trying to sell the team, we're trying not to spend money,
yep,
we'll
yep.
just get Hooksy there. And he got to the grand final. Obviously, looked really good.
Mhm.
You get the what's sort of interesting about this is you get that VRS change that just says, right, 32 teams just get invited to the major. That's how
Yep,
we rank majors now. So it means Astralis are basically confirmed for the next major. So what you get then is Astralis basically saying, "Oh shit, we need to like survive because we can survive
yep.
if we can just get to that major and get that sticker money."
Mhm.
So this is the move that they've seen as that move, and I think it's probably the right move. You get a roster now of Device, Stay, Yabby, Stan, and Huxley. I think he got better out of Stan at Astana.
Mhm.
He's an Orpa's IGL. Orpa's always do well under him. So to have Device under that, perfect. And he's worked with Jabby before. So I don't see why you can't get the best out of him and then stay, solid on his own. So I think you're looking
Mm.
at a better Astralis as a result of Huxley coming in.
And it's kind of interesting from his perspective because like Australis's financial woes are no secret.
Mhm.
So he's sort of taking a bit of a risk here, and it to me it says how much faith he has in this roster and like how much he probably enjoyed a starter, and that he thinks that they can really make something of this roster, and I would love to see it. I'd love to see them back.
Yeah, for sure. I think before Astana, you'd have said they need each other.
Yeah.
But I think, once he showed, oh yeah, Hooksy, he looked good individually. He's
Hmm.
still up with the meta in terms of his strats. He's shown how quickly he can improve a team. I think he'll have had a few more offers, like in the aftermath of that.
Hmm.
I don't know where else he could have gone, but I'm sure he could have gone somewhere. So yeah, I agree. I think let's see how he does. I think that's one of the more interesting ones heading into next season for sure.
Absolutely. Will they be at Cologne? Question mark.
Ooh, that is a question mark. Let me have a look.
Yeah.
Let me have a little look because I am not sure. If they are, they're in stage one. They won't be in stage two. They are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm.
Well, I guess they've got a little bit of time before a first proper outing of the season, but even if they can place fairly well at Cologne,
Yeah.
it's a start to fixing all of these problems. So
Yeah, for
I would
sure.
love to see it.
I'd expect to see them in the play-in at least.
Hmm.
Um, they shouldn't have any problems getting out of that group stage, barring
Yeah.
something crazy happening.
This is Counter Strike.
Yeah, this is 2025 CS for sure.
Yeah.
Now, that's Astralis.
Mhm,
Next is the blockbuster move of the summer. I don't see it getting any bigger than this.
mhm.
It's Falcons. It is minus Magisk plus Kyosuke. I don't know how you say it. I'm sure we'll figure that
Someone's
one
like,
out.
it's Kayasuke.
Yeah, there'll definitely be someone who gets very upset for what I'm about to do for the next 5 minutes. Um, yeah, Magisk, he plays the anchor positions. He's a four-time major winner, but man, he's rough this year.
Yeah, yeah.
He
I
looks
mean,
so
Falcons
rough.
have just, after what happened at the major, they need to make some sort of big change. And
Yeah.
the rumors of this change were going around well before the
Mhm.
major. So perhaps they already knew about it. Perhaps it was just a rumor at that point. But the major was just embarrassing for
Yeah.
Falcons.
I mean, this for sure won't come as a shock to any of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, QCK comes in from Spirit Academy. Don't know if you
Mhm.
saw, but there was rumors of the buyout that MS Dossery denied, CEO of Falcons, FIFA player who was apparently the CEO of a esports organization that is totally not funded by the Saudi state.
No, of course not. Everybody knows
Um,
that. What a
everybody
ridiculous thing
knows
to
that.
say.
But there was rumors that it was 2 million. He's denied that. But yeah, regardless, Spirit Academy are in for a nice payday because he is the best talent since Donk.
Yep.
And it's an
Yep.
easy comparison to make because they're both aggressive players. They both came through Spirit Academy. They've both spent probably 15-20% of their living waking hours on Counter Strike.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
but this kid, like, mechanically, he is a demon.
Mhm.
Like, there's always the pressure aspect of moving up to tier one, and like Donk has just been cold as ice, and that just hasn't affected him at all.
Mhm.
That is the only question mark for me over this kid. Like, in terms of raw Counter Strike ability, he's got it. Like,
Yep.
there's
Yep.
just no question. So, but
And
again,
to, I guess, to be joining players with as much experience as the likes of Nico and Monazi, I think there's
yeah,
probably a lot that they can do to encourage him, to sort of teach him how these things. Apparently, I'm being disagreed with right here.
we might have to pause.
It's fine, don't worry.
Oi! What were we actually saying?
We were saying, I think the last thing I remember saying was that um, having players like Nico and Monazi bringing that level of experience for Kaiosuke, that's obviously going to help him. And maybe, with those stage nerves and the kind of position that we're going to expect Falcons to be in, um, I think it can only be a help.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And what's going to be interesting is how they handle the roles,
Yeah,
because what you've actually got is Kusuke comes in, he's a more aggressive player. He's not like Donk, where he's the first in,
yeah.
but he is second in. He's the guy that trades, the guy that's first in, from what I've seen of him.
So I guess the question is,
So,
who's first in now?
well, it's generally Nico. Nico
Yep.
is all kicks and just throws himself in.
Hmm.
IGL, human flashbang. That's typical.
Yep.
So yeah, what you get, I think what you'll get is on CT, Tessez will take up the anchor roles that Magisk was previously doing. So he'll take all the bit roles. But I don't want to go like full role cell because
Yep.
like Kyosuke is he 17, 18? I don't even know if he's 18 yet. I
I'm
think
not
he's
sure,
only
to be honest. He's
17.
very young.
He's 17.
Okay,
So
yeah.
like you can't just pinpoint him and lock him down to these positions.
Hmm.
Um like he can learn is my point. But the idea that, Nico in this attempt to win a major is like locking himself down to a bunch of Russian kids is is interesting.
It's
Like
death
he's
or
just
glory for
surrounding
Nico at
himself.
this point.
He's just surrounding himself with a bunch of Russian kids in an attempt to win what he's been chasing. So yeah,
I
this is
mean, yeah, it's very interesting, as we've said before, that Spirit actually did let him go,
mhm.
because we've talked about how much they probably do need to make a change. And I don't know, maybe Kaiosuke and Donk together might have been too aggressive. there has to be a reason behind that decision, but to
Yeah.
get him into Falcons is it's interesting from a roster perspective, I
Yeah,
will
well,
say.
we will get into the reason soon enough
Mm,
when we talk about the rumors because I think there is a reason and it's a good one, I think.
okay. I'll
But yeah,
be
next up you have the G2 changes.
much
So,
needed, I would say.
yeah, you've got minus Hades
Hmm.
and minus Taz. So Hades we always knew was temporary. Taz has been there 18 months, won a few trophies. That was obviously when Nico and Monacy was there.
Hmm.
But he has always been more of the vibes coach. I think that's maybe, unfair based on what we've sort of been allowed to hear from tournament organizers, where he's talking in the mic and he's like, come on, guys, we need to fucking win some rounds. And it's like,
Yeah.
like I could do that, but like, I think that's unfair for the work that he does. I think they're not allowed to talk when he talks tactics, they're not allowed to show
Yeah.
it.
Hmm.
I think, yeah, I think he's been done dirty there.
Oh
Um,
yeah. I mean, you're not going to coach the best. Even the best players in the world need a little bit more than just click heads, man. Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah. And there's a rumor as well that this it's going to be minus snacks as well.
okay,
So
yeah,
the plan apparently is well, some Pius is in,
yes,
Saw is in as a coach, both from Heroic. Saw the interesting thing about Saw is he's a roster builder,
okay.
so I'm excited to see what he does with that lineup in the long term because I've got no doubt that more changes will be afoot. What I heard from that is that they paid like double what they paid for some Pius, which is wild. We paid for double for Saw.
Really?
Yeah, double what they paid for Saw.
Damn,
What they
Heroic are
paid for
just
some Pius.
rolling in dollars, man.
Literally. Yeah. So the plan apparently is minus snacks as well, plus I don't know if you know who they're bringing in beyond some
Mm,
Pius to replace snacks, but they're not going for an IGL because Hunter's becoming the IGL. That's a transition they've been asking him to make for years now.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah.
That'd be interesting to see what.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't think Hunter would see. I'm coming up with an opinion on the spot. The thing is, I don't have an opinion on what Hunter would be like as an IGL.
He'll be good. I promise.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
So he's been calling the CT pistols
Hmm.
for a long time. And he's always had like a hand in the CT calling, is from what I can gather. Don't know how he'll be on T, but I'm pretty confident. And again, it's something that they've been asking him to do for years. So
Mm,
I don't know if it was a look, we can't justify your spot on this roster anymore unless you make this transition,
hmm.
which I could believe because his form has not been great. He's like a 1.00 rating.
Yeah, I remember
So
I interviewed Hunter back for Blast Lisbon, and it was just a couple of days after he had that like career best map, and we
mhm.
talked to him a little bit about it, and I was like, did you expect that going in? Like, what was your preparation? And he was like, yeah, I had no idea that was going to happen. It was like, that's not great. I kind
Yeah,
of thought that he'd be like, no, I proper locked in for this map. I was really ready. No, he was just like, yeah, I just fully didn't think that was going to happen.
yeah,
So,
and yeah, one more confirmed roster move to
mm,
discuss. So Virtus Pro yesterday benched Flammus,
hmm.
which was surprising because when they signed him from Gamer Legion 6 months ago, they confirmed he was on a 4-year contract.
Oh,
So
God.
best of luck to whoever wants to buy him. Best of luck to him if he gets stuck in contract jail.
Yep.
Um, but when you look at his stats, you kind of get it. He's like a 0.88 for the last 3 months for someone that's
Yeah.
meant to be like a star rifler. Gets to star positions, he's just not been good enough. But he's been asked to change positions like 3 times this year already. So like you
But
maybe could have given the benefit of the doubt.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, who knows? But
It's so what? He's got 3 years left on that contract now.
3.5.
3.5,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. And
Yeah.
obviously he'll be on reduced money
Yep.
because he's benched. But yeah, they've brought in Perfecto. So Perfecto obviously major winner with Navi back in the day. had a rough old time of it with Cloud9, and then ended up just stuck in contract jail.
Mhm.
He was inactive for over a year.
Whoa, was it that long?
Yeah, yeah, he was inactive for over a year.
That's crazy.
So it won't actually exactly show me how long he's been active for, but it's definitely over a year. So
Yeah.
he's just been AWOL basically for
Plenty of time to practice, I guess.
yeah, yeah. I mean, let's hope he can sort of keep up with the meta. It's a really good change if he has sort of kept up with his abilities. We thought we were going to see him at where was it? Was it Dallas with BC game?
Okay.
And I think visa issues put a stop to it.
Mm.
So yeah, that was an unfortunate one. But he obviously gets the chance now to really prove his worth and make sure that people know that Perfecto is back. This was one that I thought Spirit could explore.
Yep.
Didn't happen, obviously. But yeah, he gets to reunite with Electronic, who obviously they both won a major together on Navi
Yep,
once
yep.
upon a
Yeah, it'd be
time.
nice
But
to see them back together, to be honest.
yeah, yeah. But that is it for the confirmed roster changes.
Which, less than a week out from the grand finals, is actually a pretty good showing, I'd say.
Yeah, yeah, it's not bad at all. Yeah, but there are a few rumors floating about that I
Mhm.
think are worth discussing.
Yep.
Big one at the minute is that Spirit are targeting Zve. Do you know about this guy?
No, I don't.
No. So he plays for Namiga, who did they get
Okay.
to stage 2 of the major?
Mhm.
I believe. Let me have a little check on that. No, they got to stage 3.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
this guy was instrumental throughout. So he's just 17 years old, but he plays anchor spots where
Mhm.
a decent anchor can get like a 1.05 rating and get away with it. This guy, for the last 3 months, is averaging 1.15. He was one of the highest rated players in the major
Amazing.
from
Yeah.
bitch spots in a bad team. Or
Yeah, yeah.
bad team's unfair, but a tough,
Comparatively.
yeah, comparatively. So that is this again. It brings us back to the QCK thing. The rumor is that he's going to replace Magix,
Mhm.
who is an anchor who's just not been putting up good numbers at all.
Yeah,
If you can
it
get,
seems his performance just seems so inconsistent because sometimes you watch a game and you're like, "Whoa,
yeah,
Magix is incredible," and then
yeah.
other times you're just like, "Hello,
So
Magis, are
if
you
you
here, bro?"
can if you can get that much higher output out of
Mhm.
this guy, like it's a great upgrade,
Yep.
and it fits the roles perfectly. You won't have to really change much around. So that's why I think they've gone with this guy over Kasuke, assuming it does come to fruition, which by the sounds of it, it will.
Yep, yep, because I guess Kasuke is not he's not gonna just replace
No,
Magix
you'd have to mold
easily.
them and change
Yeah,
things
yeah.
around, and yeah,
Yeah, you'd have to adapt the rest of the team's roles around him, which
yeah,
is obviously gonna be a bit more difficult, and there's not that much time before Cologne starts,
no.
so
So what I was surprised by was the rumor that they're keeping Chopper, according to Overdrive, who works for Team Spirit, does scouting for Team Spirit.
okay.
Chopper's staying. So one of the big problems for Spirit for me is that the ideas just need to be like they need fresh ideas,
Mhm.
and they don't have them, and that's been
Yeah,
the big
because it
problem
feels
for them.
like the skills of the players is not their problem at
Yeah,
all from my perspective, like, yet no one is gonna sit there and be like, Donk could have done a little better," but their strategies are just like, "Dunk, go."
yeah. Like
And there's only so many times that's gonna work.
yeah, you need a more well-rounded plan, and they do allocate a lot of dunk, and that's not an accident.
Mhm.
But like they could do more with what they have.
Yeah.
And I minus Chopper would probably be a move that I would make.
Okay.
But yeah, it's tough because who do you replace him with? Is always the question.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, I mean, there is always a pool of Counter-Strike players, but a lot are untested. They're few and far between for the role that he's gonna
Yeah, definitely.
fulfill. There's a lot more to it than just we could do with replacing this one dude.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, Next rumor, Cloud9 again. Did you hear about this one?
I didn't. All of these rumors have completely gone over my head, and I don't even know how. Like, we talked about it on Discord, and I was like, "Who?
Yeah, yeah,
What? Like, where have I been? I've just been watching Dota the last week."
yeah. So Cloud9 dipped out of Counter Strike. I can't remember if it was the
Mhm.
end of last year. They just said, "Nope, we're out." And for a while, there's been always rumors of like how they're exploring options to get back into the game because it's a big thing for them. They've got a big legacy in it. So
Yep, yep.
the current rumor that has been shut down by the Cloud9 CEO was that they were going to buy the Navi Junior roster. So
Okay.
in the issue with Navi Junior is that they can't accept event invites if Navi are going to be there. They
Ah.
are number 27th in the world right now because they have won. So this year they have won two CCT events, the European Series for the Thunderpick World Championship, the first European
Hey.
Series. They won
Yep.
that, so they'll be in the close qualifier for that. And they won Yala Compass Spring 2025. So,
Yeah.
fun little fact, Navi Junior have won more prize money than Navi in 2025.
Oh god, it stings,
Doesn't
doesn't
feel
it?
real, but that is a
Mm-mm.
real statistic. I don't have the exact numbers, but I have checked this.
What is going on with them as an org? Because the same thing is happening in Dota with Navi.
Yeah.
So Navi Junior in Dota have just qualified for the international, and their
Oh,
main roster didn't qualify. So they just had
wow.
to announce that Navi Junior is now becoming the main roster because they
Wow.
got to TI. And it's, why is this happening to this
Yeah.
org?
So the assumption has always been because they can't accept invites. I've seen a player speak about this. I think they won a CCT event that I'd watched,
Yeah.
and they spoke about it afterwards. Maybe it was Thunderpick actually, but the players were speaking like, "We're winning stuff. We need to be able to accept invites because we're
Yeah.
as a team for our development." So I think the assumption has always been that whoever buys them just buys the full roster. Like, a team looking to get into the game or come back in Cloud9's case, which apparently isn't happening.
Okay.
The only thing is, with Navi themselves looking to make changes, the rumor is they're going to bring in this kid called Makazi from Navi Junior.
Hmm.
He is by far their best player. I would say beyond Kyosuke, he is the top rifle and talent at the moment in the world.
Whoa.
He
Okay.
he is that good, but he's just sat there on Navi Junior and like just farming CCT events and stuff.
Mhm.
But if you put him into Navi, Navi Junior as a lineup loses value
Right. Okay. Yeah.
in
Yeah.
terms of a unit. Like, there's still, still be a good team, but like it's not the same. Like, if you just take the star player out of it
Yeah.
inherently,
Oh,
like
oh, absolutely. That would be the case with any roster, really.
there's value in the like if you buy the four of them, you keep your VRS, you keep your core,
Hmm.
but in terms of being an actual competitive team, you would have to replace him with someone solid. So yeah, that's that one, and
Absolutely. Yeah.
and
That's interesting.
uh, they're a really good team. And another Navi adjacent rumor, last rumor that we've got to discuss,
Hmm.
is that Simple has claimed today, at the time of recording, that he is in contract jail. So someone asked him, are you joining Phase? And he said,
Understandably.
seems like I'm not joining. Keep it in secret. And then after the same person said, we need you, bro. He said, sometimes it's hard to go out from jail. So yeah,
That's a real shame.
it
Like a
really
real shame.
it sounds like the conversation has been had
Yeah.
and the price tag has just they've gone no. By the sounds of it. No, obviously
Yeah.
that is pure speculation on my behalf, but you can infer the fact that he's implying he's in jail, he's in contract jail.
Yeah.
The rumor has been that the contract ends at the end of 2025, so Navi might just be still
Okay.
asking for silly amount of money to make it.
Which I guess they can.
Yeah,
Like, they can get away with that. Like, yeah, I think Simple worked out on Phase a lot better than I think a lot of people thought that he would. And Like, he's so close to just being back. And if Na'Vi aren't going to pull him onto the main roster, which I just don't think they will,
No.
then just holding on to him, yeah, it's a shame for the scene. It's a shame for the fans. Na'Vi aren't going to get that money that they're charging for him.
Yeah.
So everybody loses in this situation.
So yeah, we just get to watch Simple sit on the bench for another 6 months, probably. By the sounds of it, maybe something will happen, but yeah.
Yeah, it would be great if they could come to an agreement, but, you know,
Oh,
as
it's
you
such a
say,
shame, man.
the implication that I said the simplification the implication is that he's just stuck. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I was Simple, I'd be absolutely fuming with
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Fuming.
It's hard that, they're obviously not on the best terms, but by the sounds of it,
Mhm.
because he had that thing where like he just didn't show up for a tournament when he benched himself. Like he just
Yeah.
didn't get on the plane.
Yep.
And then ever since Navi have not been, let's say, kind about his buyout.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like they're trying to punish him in a way. And it's like,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
let it go, man. At this point in Counter Strike, that was ages ago. It was
Yeah.
so long. Just let
Nearly
it
2 years.
go. So, yeah, I would love to see him make a comeback, especially after making it onto the stage at the major. That was
Yeah.
really exciting. Yeah, and I think it would be good for the ecosystem. Just it would be good for Counter Strike to have him back
Yeah,
on a
like
roster like Phase.
this was the most watched major of all time.
Yeah, yeah,
Like he has that draw
exactly.
regardless of what you think of him. Like regardless of what you think of his form,
Hmm.
he people just watch Simple. Like
Yeah,
it just
because he's a
happens.
legend. And I think a lot of Counter Strike fans, because Counter Strike has been around for so long, a lot of people who are Counter Strike fans are, yes, they're young, but they're also people in their 30s, maybe even their 40s, also like Counter Strike still.
Yeah, yeah, for
And
sure.
you see a name like Simple, even if you haven't watched Counter Strike for 5 years, you see Simple's playing a major, you're going to watch that major. That's
Yeah,
how it works.
you know the name, don't you? Like,
Exactly. Yeah. He's
yeah,
a celebrity in his own right,
for
and he
sure.
deserves to be. So, well, I hope that based on our arguments, Navi will think, okay, we'll just let him go.
Navi, if you're listening, let him go. Let
That's
him
it.
spread his wings.
Well, I guess when we came into this episode, I was thinking it wasn't going to necessarily be a long one. This has turned out as our longest episode yet. So if you're still
Has
with
it?
us, thank you so much. And
Has
I
it?
appreciate it. Yep, yep. We're on
Wow.
almost an hour of record time.
Wow.
So, thank you so much for joining us. We will be back again next week with more hot takes brought to you by the Thunderpick World Championship. Thank you so much, guys.